welcome to Sarah's Stamping Retreat. Today we're going to have some fun colouring an embossing folder. And I think this is a really fun thing to do. So I'm going to use the 3D embossing folder of the month for February from Spellbinders, which is this really lovely eggs and flowers pattern. It's a nice Eastery one. And we're going to colour that in, and I'm going to use my alcohol markers. And I'm literally just going to treat it as though it was a picture. So I'm going to use the edges of the embossed lines as if they were the edges of my picture. And you get a really nice kind of like no line colouring effect then as well. So the one thing to note when you're doing this is that when you emboss the cardstock with the embossing folder, then you also broke up the fibres a bit. So doing this, the pens are kind of more likely to bleed a little bit than they would usually on the same type of cardstock. So you want kind of a really light touch. So now that I've got my really cute coloured in panel, I'm going to add even more detail with some embossing. So I'm going to use my Wow embossing pen, and I'm just going to add on some details. I'm kind of highlighting the raised bits on the eggs, and I'm also going to highlight the centres on the flowers as well. And I'm trying not to get my hands on the paper too much when I do this, because obviously your hands have little kind of oils on them that the embossing powders like to stick to. So I'm going to heat emboss that top section first so that I don't have to worry about putting my hand on that bit. So I think that's really pretty highlighted with that gold. So I want to make 4 cards from this. This panel's taken a long time to make, so I want to make the most of it. So I'm going to cut it into 4 equal pieces. So I'm just going to grab this Happy Easter sentiment, which is from an old Stampin' Up stamp set. And I'm just going to stamp that 4 times. And then I'm going to heat emboss them in gold. I actually ended up stamping it 5 times just in case one of them gets too close to another one or something. So I want to die cut it out, and I want to make sure I've got room to die cut them. And this is the benefit of a superfine embossing powder. Look how nicely it clings to that really fine Happy. And then I'm going to use a stitch rectangle die to cut them out. So really annoyingly, I forgot to press record as I was making the cards up. So I'm just going to talk you through what I did. So I cut the panel down, I cut it into quarters, and each quarter measures 2 3/4 by 4 1/4 inches. Then I added some ribbon across there. Then I backed it with a piece of gold cardstock that's 1/4 inch bigger. Stuck that onto my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card blank, and then I've popped our sentiment that we heat embossed up on foam pads. So I've now got 4 of these really pretty cards. And I think it's really nice because I spent quite a lot of time doing the colouring and the detailing on the background. Split it into 4 cards then makes it really stretch further, and I'm really pleased with how these came out. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, I'd appreciate you clicking like below, and you can also press subscribe if you'd like to see future videos. If you press the bell button and select all, then YouTube will also notify you when I've got a new video available. All of the products that I used to create today's cards are listed in the description below, and there's also a link there to my blog where you can find a picture supply list if that helps you find what you're looking for. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.